These are the things that get you to 20 trucks, $10 million in revenue.
I can see stuff coming a mile away. This customer is claiming that he didn't get his ladder, but we marked it delivered and have it showing on our app at loadout and got pictures of it on the dock. But this is, again, why documentation is so important. Pictures, 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 pictures. All right, today is Friday, December 26th. It is the day right after Christmas, coming up on 7 a.m. Central Time. And latest on the business. So, dealing with some turnover, but not just driver helper turnover, actually dealing with turnover with my administrative tasks. So, business updates. I've shifted my focus now to, again, looking at sustainability and long-term accounts. Wayfair is a good one, pays very consistent with the flat rate, $750 a day. But the work, I don't know if it's just we came in right during peak season. If you're new here, of course, my name is Robert Rayner. I left my full-time mechanical engineering job and go and scale my final mile white glove trucking business. I ended up scaling to 20 trucks, did $10 million in revenue over the course of 6 years, and now I'm rebuilding my business from scratch. But Wayfair, I think we got started during their peak season week. We had 2 weeks where we were running, our first 2 weeks, some of the heaviest, longest routes I've ever seen for a furniture account. 25 to 28 stops. We load up every day at 5:30 a.m. and the finish time on the route. They have an ETA. That Wayfair is very, very time specific. They have deliveries cut down to the minutes allocated for the delivery. So for some of those drop-off items, yes, there are some drop-off, but here's the catch. From when you pull up to the house to when you should be pulling out from the house, they give you 6 minutes. So you can just take into account the amount of stuff that has to happen in 6 minutes between scanning the item and pray it's not a dresser or a pool table where you have to get it off the truck, get it to the customer's door or their room of choice, whatever delivery it is, and be pulling off and gone all in 6 minutes. So just unrealistic stuff, pretty much what it came down to. And then some of the, you really just gotta know, again, it's a trade. Again, it's a trade. The work can be done, but can you get it done at the speed which they want you to get it done? That's a part of the job, is having the speed. But either way, having guys starting off brand new and fresh, apparently they don't do training routes during peak season week. So of course it's a throw to the wolves type of situation. And so I think I did end up losing some guys just through that. All of our routes we load up at 5:30 a.m. and then, like I said, they have everything accounted for, even the drive time between stops. They're not accounting for traffic, so you're automatically set up for failure in a way because of the way they route stuff and how it's done. They give you 20 minutes to get to your stop one when traffic will make it be 40 minutes. You're automatically out the gate 20 minutes behind and there's nothing you can do about it. And so just little stuff like that led to extremely long days. Loading up at 5:30 a.m., getting back at 8 o'clock p.m. So, of course, lost some guys there. But again, how can I prevent myself from going through something like that again? Focus on the low-risk accounts. So now, again, I've shifted my focus to Lowe's back of the store operations. And so that's what we got right now. We got 2 trucks running Lowe's back of the store. I'm actually headed to the store right now just to see my guys off the dock. They do have us rotating around Nashville, but today both of my teams are actually at the same exact location. So I'm going to go to loadout, catch the guys, and see them off the dock. All right, and there's truck number 1 right there, truck number 2 right there. And so now I'm about to just head in and basically see what the routes are looking like. We have actually had an issue with load up the other day at this same location where they claim we got some Christmas lights delivered to the wrong customer and having to check delivery photos. So I'm going to go and hop on that now to hopefully avoid a claim. But let's see what we got for today. All right, so we just left the back of the stores, got both the teams off the dock. I'm now actually about to head to the XDT to dig a little bit deeper into the routes from the other week. We've got Christmas lights. The store's claiming they caught us on camera loading to our truck but we were told at the time of loadout that they were out of stock. So I'm thinking in my head, and I actually just talked to the store manager while I was at the store, and he said himself that they were out of stock. So how could we have loaded something on our truck that was out of stock? I don't understand. But this is, again, why documentation is so important. Pictures, 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 pictures. And I actually remember even my guy loading up the truck when we were adjusting the phone. Make sure your app is on point. Do not mark anything in that app as loaded if it is not loaded onto your truck. Do not mark anything in that app that is not delivered on your app. It's that simple. But again, though, why pictures, no matter what anybody says, he said, she said, no matter what the app shows, pictures, you cannot deny the pictures. And so I'm heading to the XDT right now to try to get to the bottom of everything. We've got a ladder. This is all the same. Actually, no, it's two different customers involved. One of them is claiming that he didn't get his ladder delivered when we could have sworn, I swear up and down, we got delivered. But again, my driver that I was training for the day didn't take pictures of the ladder in the home. He got them on the dock. So it shows obviously we loaded on the truck, but it wasn't, he didn't get any pictures of it in the actual customer's home. So I'm headed to the XDT now to just try to get more visibility on things and kind of go through the routes from the other day to get to the bottom of everything so I can avoid a claim. I can see stuff coming a mile away. This customer is claiming that he didn't get his ladder, but we marked it delivered and have it showing on our app at loadout and got pictures of it on the dock. So it got loaded on the truck, but the customer says they didn't get it, and we don't have pictures showing that we delivered it. Therefore, they're gonna assume we stole it. And so that's why, like I said, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of everything right now. I think we had another customer on the route for the day who did have the same ladder, and we may have delivered to them, but I gotta make sure that one, we actually delivered it to that customer, and if we didn't, where'd it go? And then if it did go somewhere else, did that customer actually even order it? But basically playing detective at this point, but it's all to save some money and not be out here working and running trucks for free. So this is the kind of stuff that you have to do on the back end, but it also comes down to training and onboarding, making sure your guys are onboarded and trained so that you don't have to deal with this stuff on the back end. Because if we had everything taken care of on the front with the pictures and all, I wouldn't have to do all this. And so that's the power of good training and onboarding. But I just pulled up to the XDT. I'm about to run through this now and get this knocked out. All right, so I'm moving to XDT now. Headed back home. Was able to figure out the ladder. So the ladder we actually did end up delivering to the wrong home. So now I'm actually contacting and reaching out to the customer now to see when I can go and pick that up, take it to the correct customer before the store puts in a claim. And then as far as the Christmas lights, still trying to figure that one out. I talked to the store manager this morning, and he said it was out of stock. And so I actually still hadn't even seen the customer that was allegedly supposed to get them was on a whole nother truck. I don't even know what their order actually even showed. But it was the fact that it was out of stock. And so now I'm wondering, what was the item number on that original order? Because it is very well possible we had two customers with the exact same item, and we took the one we were supposed to take. But again, we couldn't have taken it because we were also told it was out of stock. So all kind of just scavenger hunt, but details here. This is some real digging right now. And this is the kind of stuff that if I was in the truck, I wouldn't even have the time to do. I have to figure out how to do it, and it would just take a lot of time and energy and effort that I otherwise wouldn't have. But that's it for this morning. Now I'm about to get back to my place and just get caught up on work. We got lots of recruiting to do. To get these trucks running and rolling again. And I'm excited for it. Definitely excited for it to get all 4 or 5 of my trucks running again. And so my assistant, that's something else I was talking about as far as dealing with turnover. I have transitioned out from my old assistant to my new one. And so as far as tasks go, main thing right now is recruiting. Of course, there's going to be stuff on the back end. There's more to it as far as payroll and stuff. But the main thing right now, the backbone of my business is recruiting. Without guys coming through the door and being actively interviewed, onboarded, and contacted back and forth between them and our 3PL partners, I do not have a business. It's almost like the sales of a business. You think about sales for any business. Without salespeople, without a sales team, there's no revenue coming in. There's no income for a business. So therefore, there is no business. When you have a service-based business like this, where it's heavily dependent on people, if you don't have someone actively recruiting and onboarding guys to grow and scale the service business, because service businesses grow with people. And so with that, we have to have a constant flow of people coming in at all times. And without that, your business is either shrinking or it's stagnant. It is not going anywhere. And if you're dealing with turnover, it's definitely shrinking. You're going backwards in the wrong direction. And so realizing that was my bottleneck, I'm getting sucked into the truck. And then therefore, I'm not having time to recruit and onboard guys, which then leads to me not having anybody to fill my position, which leads to me being stuck in the truck. And it's this never-ending cycle. And so that's why my assistant, I had an original assistant, but she didn't have the sense of urgency and just wasn't quite on it like I needed. So I'm transitioning to another assistant. But again, why the systems are so important, it's a plug and play right now. I'm literally taking one assistant and plugging her into my trucking business. I have the training videos, everything already recorded on how to do everything. The transition is about as smooth as it can get. There's little nitty gritty details, but that's always going to come. It's never going to be a true plug and play that easy when you're dealing with people. But it's about as close as it can get. And so I'm looking forward to that. We have a meeting scheduled for later today. And we're actually also looking to expand into another territory, into Clarksville, Tennessee. So we got a few applicants for that job. Going to interview those guys hopefully today and keep the ball rolling. We also have a settlement. So of course, as you know, today is Friday and it is payday. But the settlement's actually posted every Wednesday, and I do an audit. You have to audit to be sure you're getting paid the correct money and funds. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to do a video on that and let you guys see what that process looks like and what the settlements look like, and also actually get to see how much we made. The fun part is tracking profit and see how much money you made.
All right, and now we're at the fun part. We're at the part where we're doing a settlement breakdown. We got money coming in. We got to make sure it's right. These logistics companies will make mistakes when it comes to the money. You got to be on your P's and Q's, cross your T's, dot your I's 2 times over. Keeping track of every single stop, every single penny that you should be getting paid. When that settlement hits, if there's anything wrong, I'm flagging it. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the links in the description. Join the Final Mile Hustle. I've got group membership offers and coaching so that you can work with me in the group sessions or the one-on-ones. But if you are looking to get your Final Mile white glove business started or grow it and scale it, you're in the right place. Trust me. I ain't hiding nothing. But like I said, if you like this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the links in the description. Plenty more coming. We're just getting started. Peace.